Hello. Welcome to the to the 23rd episode of the Ettincast. It's been a little bit. We've been busy doing the Xbox port for the past few months.
Working a lot.
Yeah, lots of the day job, especially right now. It's getting kind of crazy over there, and probably going to pick up more hours over there. So
yeah. But yeah, it's all paid off though.
Oh yeah.
Because now we got some awesome, exciting news for you guys for the Xbox release, and a couple updates as well to give you for just in general. So.
Yeah, for talk about a little bit about our next game that we're going to be finally starting on.
Yep.
And then
at least I will.
Yeah, you will. For reasons that we'll share later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so first thing to kind of start off, we have a release date for the Xbox port. We've actually had it for a couple days now, but we've been a little slow with all this. But the 30th of this month,
Wednesday,
April 30th, we're going to be releasing Circus Interstellar to the Xbox, and pretty excited about that because it's like our first big console. I mean, we did the Atari, but this is a big console worldwide, so really excited about that.
Yeah. Well, and it's the Xbox.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to do a game on the Xbox ever since, sitting in our room playing it for hours on end. So it's pretty exciting. We also had some exciting news about the progress with getting the trailer on the Xbox channel. So on Wednesday, the Xbox, I think ID at Xbox, will be sharing our trailer on their channel first.
Yeah, they've already started sharing a preview one.
Yeah, they showed a preview one, through like the Twitter and stuff like that. And in fact, we shared some as well. I believe we actually also already shared the trailer because they accidentally posted that. But yeah, so they're going to be posting it on their channel, and we'll let you guys know through probably like a short or something that they're doing that. And what else was I going to say? So you can find that on April 30th on the ID at Xbox YouTube channel.
Yep,
So,
and we'll be sharing on our Twitter or X or whatever.
Yeah, and Facebook
as well.
and stuff. And then as far as our trailer on our channel goes, we have to wait for a certain period of time, and then we'll go ahead and post on our channel too. But yeah,
I think it's like just a couple days or something. But
and then it'll be released.
Yeah. So the new Xbox, when we went back and started doing all the updates to Xbox, as you guys know from what I mentioned before, I had to completely revamp the save system and learned that I've made some errors there, and that took a while because we were looking in the wrong places. The game suddenly started crawling on the system. It was like 10 frames per second, and it was crazy.
Yeah, we were like, what the fuck? How is this happening? Because
it's the Xbox.
It's the Xbox. Yeah, it was like the Xbox One. So we were like, this should have higher end graphics than like my laptop, which can run just fine.
Yeah, so we spent a long time trying to figure that out and updating a bunch of stuff and it not fixing it. And then finally I found out it's because I programmed the new save system wrong. And it was like every step it was saving. And so that was just dragging the performance down. Once I fixed that, everything ran well. It was like even better than before because turns out I've been doing that for a while. So
yeah, it even ran better on the IRK, which was really cool. That one,
because that one's the hardest one to get performing right.
It's like a toaster, basically.
What we did though was we on top of just a brand new save system that none of you guys are gonna be able to feel that.
That's so like kind of under the radar.
Yeah, but it does open the doors, which is really cool. It opens doors for other consoles because apparently they all use that same system. So that was really cool. But on top of that, we got some new gameplay balances. Turns out for the longest time, the bouncer levels, you guys know the jumping jester in Circus Interstellar. He's the guy that bounces on the pogo stick body. Turns out, we
at first we
thought
made
his
it like
levels
this
were too
on
hard.
purpose. So before we had to where the bouncers could kill each other, right? Mm-hmm. But then because we thought, that's a good way to balance it, right? But the problem is that you would start the level and they'd all kill themselves.
Yeah,
and you only have to deal
like
with
3 or 5
dudes.
So
and,
it was like, this is way too easy.
And we wanted it to be a little bit more like an actual challenge, like the level was supposed to be. And so we made it to where bouncers don't kill each other now,
but they still kill other clowns.
They still kill other clowns.
So you can still use them to your advantage by like getting them to kind of funnel towards you and then bounce on their buddies. So that works still. But now their levels are a lot more challenging, especially jumping.
We did balance them out too. We went and we changed up the numbers for the amount of enemies that spawn in those levels. So it's not like broken now. It's actually better. I feel like it's a lot better now. Way funner, way more challenging. But yeah, so that's the bouncers. Yeah, I saw that. So that's the bouncers.
Yeah, so we fixed those guys. We also did some adjustments to all the other enemies, kind of just make them a little bit better. We adjusted some of the levels because some of the levels were some of them were too easy, some of them were too hard. So we readjusted like enemy balance, like how many there are, what kind of enemies there are, stuff like that. Bosses are a little bit better now too. Don't remember exactly what I did with them, but
it was just
I
like
adjusted
small
like
tweaks,
speeds and stuff like
tweaks.
that. Yeah, just small tweaks. And so
trying to kind of like make it as good as we can because this we plan just like we say every time, but this time for real because we really want to move on to the next game. This was the like finishing touches to the game, trying to just like get off all the sharp edges.
Yeah,
the rough edges.
We saw it as we're going on the one of the big consoles now, and like we wanted the game to really like feel like
completely finished.
Yeah, exactly. Like a full-fledged game, even more so than it kind of already was. But yeah, so we did that, and in order to also make everything more readable, we adjusted some visual stuff. So the menu is much more when you go on the main menu, all the text that pops up, it's got another layer behind it that's black, so it makes it pop off the screen a little bit better. You can adjust your when you're in the player select, you can actually swap your controllers in that screen. I don't know what I was thinking, but originally you had to like exit that, go to like the gamepad swap, and it was really archaic and dumb. So we made it to where now there's an option on the player select. And so there's just little things like that. There was a bunch of bugs that we didn't find before, but during this process,
it was like
ran across them.
Another game-breaking bug that we never would have found out about, and it was just like a freak accident. We found out about it. I don't even remember what it was anymore.
There was something about. I remember that the third and fourth player, when the third player would join in, or fourth player would join in, the third player could adjust his player when he was choosing his player by pushing up and down, left and right and stuff. And I just overlooked that. That's the problem when you copy and paste some code to try and make things quicker, and then you miss some correction you're supposed to do. So whoops, but I fixed it, and so that's good now. Game's feeling just way cooler, way better. And yeah, it's ready for that Xbox release now.
Super excited about that.
Yeah, which is funny. One thing I kind of brought up. So like when we picked that release date, right? They asked us, well, you got to make sure that you have the right date. Can't switch it after it's already there. So I was like, yeah, no problem. April 30th, that's fine. And then Oblivion dropped. Out of nowhere.
Like Shadow drop.
Yeah, but we're like caught in the middle because we're huge Oblivion fans.
Yeah,
we love that game.
I always wanted to do a remake, and so I'm stoked.
Oh yeah,
but
I can't wait
of course,
to play it.
I can't afford it right now, so I can't even play it. But like, at the same time, it came out at such a bad time because it was like now
everyone's gonna be playing
Oblivion, and they're not gonna be looking at indie games. Well, that's not entirely true, right? Some might.
I heard some people that weren't excited about this.
The masses are going to be completely distracted for a long time with Oblivion.
It looks sick.
It looks so good.
It looks sick. I love that. I'm like in between because I do love that some of the jank is still there because that's when that game was really funny for a lot of the funny little bugs that would happen and everything. But there were some that I was like, you guys kept that in there?
Like when the chick messes up her line.
Yeah, and then rereads the line.
It, and she tries to sound a little bit more distraught.
Yeah, but it is funny that they would update those bugs to be even funnier because now her mouth actually moves to it, and so there's little things of that. But But the game looks amazing. I can't wait to play it once I can eventually afford it. But I don't know if we're gonna
also the
Xbox
graphics are
or PC.
amazing. We're getting on Xbox first.
You're Xbox first,
So
okay.
yeah, but the
Relive Xbox.
coolest part I thought was that like when you hit bad guys in the new Oblivion, they actually react. You know, you hit them and they jerk back. It looks really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I'm stoked.
But yeah, we got to kind of compete now.
Yeah.
With Oblivion. That ain't happening.
Compete. You just mean deal with the fact
deal
that
with-
our numbers
yeah.
are going to be gouged because like
Pretty much.
you know. But I mean, that's okay.
That's how it goes.
That's how it goes.
You can you never tell.
New games are releasing like constantly.
Oh my god! I saw like how many games were released on an Xbox on the day we're releasing. And it's like 6 games,
like 6,
and then
7.
each day around that, it's like 2, 3, 4, and it was like, oh my god, so many games released so often. But yeah, but you know, that's how it goes, and so like we're gonna do the best we can, you know, with that. But
that's okay.
yeah, which the good thing is we got you know, now that we got that save system all done. Originally we were like, okay, you know, let's just start on the next game, you know, right after we get this Xbox port done, and we're kind of, you know, we're done with ports. But you know, after having actually finished it and gone through it, and it was a huge learning experience. And you know, I was looking at it and I was like, you know, I don't think it's going to be as hard to get on other consoles like PlayStation, Nintendo, and all that.
Besides, I really want to play that on the Switch. That'd be a really good one on the Switch. Like, you know, 4 players, and it's got drop-in, so you could be like seeing your friend play and go, I want to play, and you grab your controller, turn sideways, and just start playing. And that'd be so awesome.
Cool.
You
that
play on the go.
That one will be a little bit harder, I think, to program for. So we're going to do that one probably
Maker, right?
last. Yeah, because I got to change all the controls and whatnot. But we were hearing like so many people where we'd be like, "Oh, we're going on Xbox," and then they'd be like,
I have a
PlayStation, and I don't play Xbox," and I was like, "Well, shit." So then they were like, you know, I feel that because I've been a PlayStation fanboy, you know, since I was a little kid, and so you know, that's probably gonna be the first one I want to shoot for. But while I'm doing that, Matt's going to be working on
level textures,
level textures,
and the level design.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be basically. I already have an idea of Cyberdread. Stefan's going to work on port for Circus Interstellar. I'm going to work on textures for Cyberdread and get that started. What I'll be working on basically is I kind of have an idea in my head, and through reference art that I've picked out of how I kind of want the world to look. So I'm going to go and start making some textures, and I'm going to take all those textures and I'm going to start plopping a level together in Game Maker and just kind of like get an idea about like the different layers I have to work with, the different ways I'm going to be making the platforms, and I really want to kind of like solidify what the game is going to look like. The colors especially is a big thing, because like we want to do the same with Cyberdread, where
it's like monochromatic.
It's like monochromatic in a way, where the background's like mostly one color with some extra colors in between for like accents and stuff, and then the players are like different. It's kind of hard for me to explain, but monochromatic is basically what we're going for.
Where like the world, like each level is like a specific like color palette, right? Like lots of blues or lots of greens or lots of, you know,
yellows or whatever.
Yellows. Yeah, but we've never really done monochromatic art before, so that's going to be a learning experience. And we're still kind of like in between, you know, like we're looking at some other games. Oh, is it too bright?
Yeah, dude, we're like,
oops. Yeah, so we were looking at some other games, right, that were kind of inspired by with the art and everything. Games like Mega Man. There was another game that we were looking at, and it looked really cool. Can't remember. It was an indie game.
Art?
One of the art ones.
The art, the reference art where you found.
Yeah. But I can't remember the name right now. But yeah, we were looking at just a few different titles to try and like kind of base it off of. But you know, we're kind of just figuring that one out. Matt's gonna work really hard on that while I work on the ports, the next ports, and in between all that, I'll be jumping in to do some concept art, which we do have some to show.
Show right now.
So we kind of showed.
We'll go ahead and get to that before we do the next thing.
All right,
we'll go ahead and finish talking about Cyberdread first.
Let me move this up right quick so that I can not forget what the order we're in.
Yeah, we kind of mixed up the order a little bit. I was in a hurry to type this up because we were
Just
at
got
work.
off work. Yeah,
Yeah, I
felt
had
like
to,
30
at the end of the
an
shift,
hour.
I had to type up all of our notes. So
Yeah,
it's a
so
little haphazard.
okay, so yeah, we got some concept art to show you guys. I've done a few more
It keeps
things.
auto adjusting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, and the background's gonna keep fucking up. Yeah. See, now the background's a little bit worse, unfortunately. It is what it is. Can't fix it all.
I see why you did that.
We
now.
got yeah. I was gonna say, we got unfortunately a little shitty little office that we're working with, and we're poor, so we don't have a lot of money for
fancy stuff.
Fancy stuff yet. So
All right.
all right. So we got some concept art to show of what we got so far. I've colored. I found a little bit of time in between the port to start coloring some of these.
They look
So-
awesome.
Here's the first one. So this is our liner, right? That's just a
type.
Any type.
Uh,
We haven't come up with names for these guys.
Here's a
yet.
good example. In Mega Man X, there's an enemy that basically I think looks like it has like wings. I don't know what exactly it is, but it basically flies across the screen and has a path behind it. And usually, almost always, you encounter them in dark areas, and then they come through with their light and they try to hit you.
Yeah, they're just
It's kinda
basically
like
enemies that trail across the screen and have a path behind them. That they don't always have path, but this one
but
might.
this one, yeah.
And basically, if you touch that path or you touch them, you take damage, and it will knock you down. So if we place them over like gaps, you have to time your jump between them. You can also just kill them, but it
might be a little
not
hard to
always
kill
be
'em, though.
easy. Yeah, but yeah, so that's kind of what she's gonna do, and the colors the monochromatic thing, like we're still figuring out how the heck we're gonna pull that off. If we even go monochromatic, we might just go full color. Who knows? The idea is that these guys are part of Ego's army. We kind of mentioned a little bit before in one of our other streams. Matt was breaking down some of the ideas of the story that we got going on. But basically, Ego is like an AI that was created by man that in order to
sentient.
Yeah, he became sentient, and he was created in order to basically create world peace, right? Like,
Yeah. That would happen.
Yeah, like that would happen. But that's like the idea is that rather than all these separated countries and everything, running their own business, it's all one AI running the entire world. But that's not working out so well, and the world is starting to crumble around, and so. Ego.
Basically, what the world isn't crumbling. Well, I guess you mean like metaphorically, right?
Yeah, society.
Because society's kind of crumbling because the AI's kind of becoming corrupt, and because of that, it's creating viruses. They're destroying everything off in the distance and kind of coming in closer to the core.
Yeah, so
where
his
ego is.
Yeah, so his control network is starting to dwindle down to this big city, right? And we haven't come up with a name for the city yet, but it's basically like you're going to spend the game in that city, and there's going to be this big old tower in the middle that's going to be Ego's headquarters. And Ego has created, in order to keep people like complacent and everything, he basically gives them everything they want and everything, right? And
Tends to all their needs.
Yeah, tends to all their needs, so people don't need to really like work a whole lot and everything, right? And it starts creating like people start getting depressed because they don't know why they don't feel like they have any purpose or meaning or whatever. And when that starts to happen, they start losing their color. By the way, everyone at this point is like digitized, right? So this is like far future.
Because one of Ego's plans was that to get people to be, he was trying to take over their bodies, but so he got them to agree to give up their mortal bodies to become like kind of like digital in a way, but he ended up not being able to take them over still because they had free will. So he's trying to get them to give up their free will and basically turn to like these guys, right? These guys used to be people, but then through a system they went into his facility and basically got turned into these mindless robots that now have AI controlling them, and that makes them act like they're people to get everybody to trust them.
Well,
but
and they do protect them.
And they do protect
them from like the AI. So it's one of those like gray areas where you're like,
they're enforcers, but they're also protectors.
Yeah, you're like, is he a bad guy? Is he a good guy? Like, it's kind of hard, gray. I wouldn't really say he's
a good
guy, but but yeah, it's kind of that gray area. And so these guys, they are part of Ego's squad. Ego's like police force, his army basically, and they protect from viruses and whatnot that try and break into the city. And they got like a very angelic kind of design. That's on purpose because they're supposed to be like the people
divine
look up
protectors.
to them, right? They're the divine protectors. Yeah, exactly. And so people like look up to them and everything. So the idea when I go do all these designs, and some of them I have to go back to. Some of them I have to like retouch up on.
Yeah, like this guy. This guy's very
really
unique looking. But then there's some more like what's in there one?
The Riser's probably the one I want to redo first.
Well, he looks kind of cool though. I would say the more generic one. Okay, so this guy, for example, he's going somewhere, but he's a little boring. He's really cool, but he's just not. He doesn't have that flair like this guy.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. And so like I think it's because he doesn't have enough like kind of robotics or something, like something that makes him look.
See, like this guy's
like
great. This guy's great. And it's because
yeah.
this guy, he has that like angelic divine protector thing. This guy's just a skeleton.
Yeah.
So we gotta go through and like spiffy up some of these guys. Like I love most of this design, right? It just needs something more to it, right?
So this guy, the idea is that. So this is your reviver enemy, right? He will when you kill him, right? He'll come back after a short time, unless you completely destroy him. Unlike in like say Mario, when you have those guys the skeletons that you kill them and then they crumble down and they grow back up. He will do that in a way because he's got this thing on his chest that will pulse colors, and that's like a defibrillator or something, right? And so he'll be defibrillated and he'll come back up and continue to attack you. These guys are like the rejects, right? Off the back of the line, the ones that they didn't come out exactly the way Ego wanted them to, but they will do it. Yeah, they'll do a great job because of that reviving ability that they do have. And so he kind of uses them as cannon fodder, but they definitely need more of a little bit of a touch-up redesign.
I imagine he hides these ones away. Or, well, when we spruce him up, maybe make him look a bit more angelic. Maybe he wouldn't. I feel like with the way he looks right now, he'd be too scary for the public.
Well,
so he'd probably just leave him in the back.
I think something like this, right? Like the scarier looking designs would be great if you're down in the facilities or you're down in the dregs, right? So like as you're going through the city, you play as. I'm actually going to pull up the concept art I finished. The first one I finished was the player. So you play as a guy called was it Victor? Right? Victor, and Victor has he's an artist that just lost his job
to AI.
Yeah, AI took over his work, and so he's leaving his workplace after being thrown out. And he's starting to lose, his
desire,
passion, his desire, and everything, and that. And so he's slowly like deciding on whether or not like what he wants to do, and if he wants to maybe join in. By the way, nobody's told that they're going to be losing their free will.
That they're going to lose their free will
when they transform. They're just told that they're going to become protectors, be given purpose.
There's going to be a lot of propaganda posters around and stuff or not really posters, but like these digital signs, and they're going to be all throughout the city that basically paints the. I forget what we call them, but the police force. We actually came up with a name already.
Oh yeah,
we did. What it was. That police force. It basically.
Oh, wasn't it
props him up.
Hubris or something?
No, that's the name of the city.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It props him up and it makes him look just so great, right? And basically, they tell him that running out of basically desire, well, join us. And so
we'll give you purpose.
We'll repurpose you.
so basically, your he's walking around and he's like losing color. That's what happens to them whenever they start getting depressed. They start losing their color. They start out all bright and vibrant, and they start losing their color. And we're probably going to work that into a mechanic. But
more colorful ones probably going to be worth.
Yeah, they're probably going to be worth more points. But basically, your character's like leaving this place after being kicked out, and Victor is leaving this place after being kicked out, and he's about to decide to like join the force. He finds his helmet sitting on
which
the ground.
Which is the thing that he's wearing right there. This is not what his face looks like.
Yeah.
He actually just has like a normal human like
I don't even think we're going to give him facial features.
They won't have facial features.
Like,
what it is that they're going to be a lot like, I showed this before,
hot,
but super hot
yeah.
a little bit. Where like basically you can't make out the features, but they have the shapes of like a nose and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's wearing the helmet. Now go ahead.
So basically, he's going to pick up the helmet, and then he's going to, like just kind of be like, oh, what is this? I guess I could hawk it for some money. And then he goes, whatever, and he tries it on.
Looks kind of cool.
And, it looks kind of cool. Try it on. So he tries it on, and then it corrupts him because it turns out to be a virus. Then you start your trail where you're going to then burn through the city, like, outrunning the police and, just killing everything in your way to get stronger and making your way to, there's going to be little, what do we call them? They're like, the whole city is like a computer,
kind of like a computer,
a motherboard. And there's going to be parts of the motherboard that you're going to shut down these areas, right? And as you shut down the areas, the city influence starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And viruses start coming in, right? And those viruses will then become enemies later. We're going to figure all that out down the road.
Yeah, because I like to imagine that like they don't really. It's not that they're working together. It's just that they are set to destroy. Yeah. So whatever's in their way, they're going to destroy it.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if we want to include infighting, kind of like in Doom. But that idea just came to mind, and I think we might play with that.
That one might be a little tough because you have the AI. We want to keep it simple and kind of like Mega Man, right? Mega Man simple where they do specific things, right? But yeah, basically you're going to go through and you're going to be destroying all these systems and making your way to the big tower in the center.
Oh, you know what?
He goes at.
Just came up with an idea. If you don't want to do like the infighting, how about instead what it is that because your character isn't fully a virus and you're kind of like half and half in between, both parties want to kill you.
Oh yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, because then that'll give a little bit of a meaning as to why the viruses want to kill you.
Yeah.
So you're gonna make your way through killing all these bosses. So each of the components, it'll be like a little Mega Man style like boss fight. As you get through, you make your way up the tower. The whole time, you're also gonna be attacked by this like almost lieutenant guy, right? That works for the police force. And he's gonna be a cool cat. I don't know exactly what we're doing yet. I just know we wanted
to base him off of this character. I'll go ahead and pull him up
it's got our notes here.
You go ahead.
And Gunsmith Cats.
Gunsmith Cats. New window. What's his name? He's their buddy. Why don't you just type in characters, Gunsmith Cats characters, just to give people an idea. If you guys have ever watched Gunsmith Cats, you'll know what we mean by how this guy behaves.
Oh, it's Bill. It's Bill, yeah. Bill. Yeah, so
that's not
that
Bill.
Ain't Bill.
That's
Bill.
That's
so
Bill.
Yeah, we want to be like a cool like detective kind of guy, right? That's like that way the players like you like him and you don't want to kill him. That's kind of the point, It's like make these guys like they are good people, good guys. Not so much ego, but it's like that's the idea, and so make them likable. So
they behave like good guys, but they are really just mindless. They do whatever ego tells them to do.
Yeah. So kind of like getting long in tooth on talking about this guy right now, but basically that's the idea, right? Kind of need to lay down those grounds so that anyone who missed like our previous streams can kind of be caught up to date a little bit. The game is going to be like Major Havoc, which is an old like 80s arcade game. Major Havoc meets Tron meets Mega Man.
And most so, of the as far as gameplay goes, it will probably play, I would say mostly it's going to have some Mega Man touch, but then we're going to have some of those awesome mechanics that they had in Major Havoc in this game as
the
well.
idea, like the overall like gameplay loop
Is Major Havoc.
is Major Havoc.
Yeah.
Where you start and you're going to be like starting on the bike. Well, it depends. If we want to do like a tutorial first,
we're gonna do
whatever.
start
We'll
with
figure
the
it out.
platform.
Yeah, start with the platforming probably, and then so it's basically going to go. Instead of the ship, so like on Major Havoc, you start the level and you're in a ship and you're fighting your way to the base, and then you land on the base, and it's got like this little mini game where you have to land on a platform, and then you get out on the base and you head down through a maze and activate the bomb and leave, right? And then it kind of loops that, right? So that's going to be the overall game loop, but rather than doing the spaceship, we want to do like a cool Tron cycle kind of light cycle kind of thing from Tron, and you're speeding through the city, right? And you're fighting like you're fighting the police unit. We gotta figure out what
the name is somewhere in my notes.
Okay, but yeah, so you're like fighting these police unit and stuff, making your way through. When you get to the end, after you kill all of them, you do like a cool little like Akira slide on your bike. And
you have to
aim it through these walls that are slowly closing and stuff, right? So it'll be like layers of walls that are closing at different angles and stuff. And you have to like slide between them. And when you make your way at the end, he ditches the bike, and the view switches to side view for a platformer, and it's very much like Mega Man, going through this level, this kind of maze-like level, then making your way to the bomb. You get closed in a bomb room. You fight the boss. And then you after you defeat him, it activates countdown, and you rush your way through back through the level. But now there's more enemies, and it's a lot harder. And so that's the idea. And it would just kind of like loop that gameplay, and as you're playing, you're getting stronger and stronger. And so that's the idea. But let's get back to some of these enemies right quick. By the way, your character's colors and stuff, that was just when I was originally like, we're gonna just do whatever colors. Who knows in the end? We're going to figure that out, whether or not we go with a monochromatic color or we go full-blown color. We're going to figure that out. So, and I'll have to probably redesign him.
I never posted the story.
No, that's fine.
I don't remember. It's in my notes somewhere.
Okay, so we got a few enemies here. So I'll start with the first one. I want to change the shooter. So this guy was for the first enemy I made. He's kind of...
he looks cool.
He looks cool, but honestly, I don't so much want a gun anymore for this guy. I got about halfway through coloring him, realized that this guy is where I decided the colors I wanted to do. Yeah. Right? This is more the colors I want to do. This is the first guy I started coloring, though, and so it's got a different design now. But the idea I want to go with is actually kind of make him like a little bit more Mega Man-like give him a blaster arm and stuff, right? Because I think that would just be better if it's integrated into him.
I feel like they would just integrate it.
Yeah.
Because they're just turning him into robots.
Yeah. I do love his head, though.
Yeah,
definitely going to keep that. His legs are fine, but I probably need to do a couple things. I need to make him look more like angelic.
Less like just an enforcer.
Yeah. So this guy I'll be redesigning. I'm not going to finish coloring this one because I'm just going to go ahead and redraw him. This guy's like a riser enemy, so he'll be down low, right? And he's got these like tentacle feet. I don't know if I'm going to keep tentacle feet or if I want to do like
you should
float thing,
I like the tentacle
you like
feet.
That?
I like them. I just think that his upper half needs a little bit more of an angelic thing. Space Ghost. I know Space
Which one
Ghost,
are you talking about? They might be behind a little bit. They might be talking about the player character, right? Or is it talking about the
are you talking about this guy, or are you talking about? I'll just go. It's okay.
I was gonna look up Space Ghost.
I know what she's talking about. We'll check it out in a second.
I don't think I've ever seen it myself.
Or are you talking about that guy? All right, and I'll go back. Sorry, Riser. Okay, here's Space Ghost.
So is that that comedy one?
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Yeah,
Space Ghost.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I see that.
Space Ghost has more of like a American comic book thing, but yeah, Stefan does kind of like take a lot of inspiration from American comics.
Yeah,
especially the classic stuff like
the guy.
X-Men and stuff like that. Yes, the guy. Okay, she is talking about
the
human.
So yeah, this guy will be a riser enemy type, right? And he's gonna mostly just kind of stand in place and shoot at you down below. I don't like the machine gun arms. I'm probably gonna change them to big blaster arms.
Yeah.
This is actually the first time I've really drawn robots, and so I'm learning how to do it as I'm doing it. And so
You drew robots in our first game out of nowhere.
Yeah, those guys were dumb.
Those guys were dumb, though.
Yeah, the original robots I drew years ago for an old game concept we had. It was like these robots, and they had a pilot sitting on a fucking seat right on their chest. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, you just punch the pilot, and he's dead.
You got some of the
no,
pictures. You got some pictures.
Yeah, I'll show that sometime. No, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't remember where they are.
I don't think I have it on my phone.
I'm pretty sure it's actually in your hard drive there.
Probably. Basically, this guy will raise up. So after you shoot him a couple times, he'll raise up to try and get out of your view. You can run under him, but if you do, this little light on his bottom side will start blinking, and then he'll drop down on you, doing massive damage. And so the thing you want to do is try jumping up and shooting him, or just slide underneath. You're going to get some abilities throughout the game, like sliding, and I don't know what else. We'll figure it out.
We're going to have an upgrade system, but we're still trying to figure out that. Yeah. That will come like way later. Mm-hmm. Basically, we need to get the basic bare bones of the game done first.
Yeah. So
on my end, starting with figuring out level design and textures.
So this guy also, I don't like his face. I'm probably, I had an idea of where, the fronts of trains, right? How they have that little like nose kind of piece, right? I kind of want to do that on the front, right? And I got to make him look a lot more angelic, because right now he doesn't have that. He just looks like a Mega Man guy.
He looks like a robo.
So I need to adjust him, give him some more kind of angelic qualities and stuff, and make him look much more interesting. So that guy. We also got the stunner. These guys are just like floating orbs. If you ever played, Oddworld, they're kind of like that, except they don't, they're destroyable, and they don't necessarily kill you. They just stun you as you're flying.
We should say in Oddworld, we're talking about the thing that floats there, and then when you try to do your chant, it shocks you.
Yeah.
For those who
so this guy will probably, he'll charge up as you're in his vicinity. And he'll likely be placed in areas where there's like jump patterns or whatever you have to go. And if you don't time it right, or you take too long, whatever, he'll shock you, and then you'll be stunned for a moment, and you'll fall if you're jumping. If you're not, you might just be stunned for a moment where enemies can get you.
Now, I think that unlike Oddworld, there's no dodging it. You try to shock, you're fucked, right?
No, this one you should be able to dodge.
So,
or have some move that.
We'll have it to where he sends out a shock. Yeah. You can dodge that.
I think that sounds good. So, that's just kind of a basic design with that, though. Like I said, I need to go over these. I need to add more angelic things, because when I did that first enemy, it really inspired me to where, okay, I have an idea now of where these guys have got to go. I drew her last, though. But we got a teleport.
This guy rocks.
I love this guy.
I love his design.
He will float around, and then when he sees you, he will have a bubble, like a force field around him. If you shoot him, you can destroy that bubble after you hit it enough times. It'll change color, and then it'll pop, right? And then he'll be exposed. But he'll float around, and then he'll kind of like blink out, and then blink in front of you, and he won't have a shield up anymore, so it's a good time to hit him. But when he does that, he'll slash at you for mass damage. Maybe he'll even have, like, when he slashes, like a almost projectile comes out, right, in the form of his sword.
His sword.
And then he'll pop back, and he'll be back at floating and everything, right? So that's his idea. I really like the way I love the head.
Yeah, and, the head's my favorite part.
Yeah. And he already kind of has like this almost angelic kind of like priest kind of thing going on.
Yeah,
priest-like
I think he's pretty much good the way he looks already.
Yeah, I just need the color.
But he needs color.
Maybe adjust him, because I think he's a little off with his head, so I'll adjust that over a little bit. And I'll get these colored. As I'm coloring these, by the way, I'm gonna be sharing these. We're actually also going to be, one of the things we're going to talk about a little later is we're going to be jumping on Twitch and everything a lot more often now.
To start streaming our work.
To start streaming our work and everything, because now with this game we're gonna really push on having on being more adamant about sharing the process.
Yeah.
First game, we didn't realize that. Hold on, is this available for Switch 2? Well, I heard Switch 2 is really popular. Yeah.
No, I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or
Yeah.
not, because I've seen
looks
a
cool,
mixed
but
bag. Yeah. The Switch 2 looks amazing, but I was hearing some people complain about the price and the way that they're going to be doing games on that, where basically they're going to be
having empty carts,
it's going
right?
to be called what's it called? It's called a key card.
Yeah, I hate
where
that.
it's basically just a
the key
physical.
card.
It looks like a physical copy, but there's no game on it.
And no
it is
data?
just a passcode to get your digital version.
I don't like
so
that.
I don't know
I hate that,
what
in
people
fact.
are thinking about the Switch 2. I think it looks like a great looking console.
Yeah.
But I think that some of the business practices are a bit
Shitty.
lame,
Yeah.
especially the price of the games.
Yeah.
What, like they said, Mario Kart World, I think that's what they call the new one. It's going to be like $100, and Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to be $70. And then their explanation was like, we just felt like that was just the right price for the game. And it's like, that's not an explanation, you guys.
It's kind of like they just, not to go on a tangent, but like people were upset about Oblivion pricing at $60 again, and I'm
but
like,
it's a whole new game at this point. Like, I'm gonna say, how much work they put into it.
At the same time, like, I always feel like when you remaster a game, it should probably be like $30 fucking bucks, because like
no, 40,
40
with
at
game,
most,
with the game that
$39.99.
has as
Yeah,
much
sure.
effort as that one does. I would feel like 40 would be a better deal.
I could see that, but like a full, like, charging the same price for a game that, as much as I love it, it's an old game. And
it's basically the same game in a way. Like, the graphics look amazing, and they did add a lot of different like effects and stuff like that. Like, for example, when a person gets hit, they react. But a lot of the game is still just the same exact game.
And stuff. But to answer your question, we are gonna go on the Switch. Well, I'm gonna work towards it. Obviously, I haven't even been contacting that. I'm gonna be doing that though in the next few days. I'm gonna contact all those guys and trying to get the ball rolling. Honestly, I want to be on the Switch 1. I hope that it's backwards compatible, because the plan is I want to get it on the Switch to where you can get it on the Switch, but you can also get it on the Switch 2. I don't really see a purpose in just doing the Switch 2, because first off, everyone has a Switch. I have a Switch.
And I have a Switch.
I want to play it on my Switch. But it's not like it's more intensive or something. It's a 2D platformer, retro game, so it'll run on both. So I want to aim for both. We're going to see what happens. I've never worked with Nintendo. Just like with Xbox, this will be the first time. So
just so you know, he's talking about Circus Interstellar.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, sorry.
I just had to make sure.
I actually, my brain, because we're talking about Cyberdread, my brain went Cyberdread. I forgot to. So you're right. You got me back on track.
We were going to be.
So Circus Interstellar.
Circus Interstellar was going to be on the Switch, but we'll probably, because we're already going to be dipping our toe into porting to the PlayStation and the Switch, or Nintendo, just in general, with Circus Interstellar, we'll probably go ahead and do that with Cyberdread 2.
Yeah, of course.
So,
yeah. Well, I mean, that's the whole point of all this. It's like that. It's not like we're doing it for money. I mean, there's not a whole lot of that being made right now already, and so it's passion. It's because we love it, and it's a learning process. We're learning how to put our games on these systems on our own without paying some porting company. I don't have money to pay a porting company anyway, so that ain't happening. So that is a big learning process. But yeah, we're gonna aim for the Switch definitely, and Switch 2 if it's available and we're allowed to do it. So. And yeah, thank you. I mean, I can't see any other way other than drawing everything by hand. That's what I love to do. I draw because I love to draw. I'm not going to use fucking AI. I hate generative AI. I just hate it so much because it takes out the actual personality. Yeah, the actual the person. It takes the person out of the process, and I don't like that. Everything's going to be hand drawn for us forever because I'm not fucking doing generative AI. But yeah, so anyway, so there's this guy. He's looking really cool. I'm really excited.
And
to do
now
that.
to the guy who's not looking very hot.
Was he?
Definitely
I thought
needs some work.
I actually like the thrower.
No, I remember you were saying,
but
he
does look like just a robot.
Super generic. His legs are kind of cool, but his upper half way too
Okay, so
just robot.
if I remember right, we decided that on his upper half, we were going to do something with that top to make it look more angelic. So like probably
his
take
torso
out
needs to change.
his torso needs to change. I'll look up some images of
And also with his
angelic
legs,
robots and
you're
stuff.
going
so
to
that
add
we
like
can
some
know.
pistons that kind of connect to his legs to
Well, the problem
fill in
is
the space.
if we do that, so I made a flipper design so that way you'll notice on the back of his the flipper right there, right? It's got like a spring kind of load thing. So
I was just thinking
he's
like
gonna
it might look
spring
more
up and
full
around.
if you added some like pistons that would come between or something.
Yeah.
Something that also makes sense with how much weight he's holding up.
We should explain, by the way, this guy is this is our thrower enemy, right? So his idea is he'll jump between platforms and stuff, right? He'll be able to jump at you, kind of like a frog, and when he gets to you, he picks you up and he'll throw you, so he can throw you off cliffs. He can throw you into enemies,
Throw you into hazards.
Maybe he'll even purposefully do it, right? Rather than like some old games, they would just pick you up and throw you whichever way they were looking. But maybe we'll make him actually like look for the closest danger, and if he doesn't find one, he'll just throw you in a random direction.
Right.
So that's the idea with him. I need to do something angelic with him. While I'm doing these streams, making these guys and everything. Maybe you guys can give me some tips and tricks on like what you guys think. Like
would be sweet
for or adding to the design to make him look more like unique. Make him look less like a Mega Man
generic
robot. And so that's this guy right here. He's a thrower, and we're gonna have to do a little touch-ups on him. But I do like his general shape. I just need to figure out how to make him look a little bit more unique.
Angelic.
Yeah. So this is the laser eye. This guy's different from the first guy. The first guy's just a stun. The guy we looked at earlier, that was a stunner. We might not even who knows? He might even just be replaced with this guy. I don't know. I like this guy better, to be honest. Like he's got a more interesting looking design.
I feel like this guy, he's not going to be a stunner though. That's the thing. He's going to be.
What is he again? He's a
gonna
laser
shoot
eye, right? He
lasers
shoots
out of his
lasers.
eye.
Yeah, that's true. But I wonder too if when the lasers hit you, if they can stun you or something.
No, because I was thinking
set
there's
it to
more.
stun.
I was thinking there's more of these guys. They swarm in. My original idea with these guys was that they're a lot like in Metal Gear Solid 4, those orbs with the hands.
Yeah, with the hands. Yeah, the ones that
they move all over the place and they kind of come in a group.
Okay,
and
so they're swarmer enemies.
Like they're a swarmer. Yeah.
Okay. Originally, when I made them, I thought they were just going to be placed in a level and float, right, and then shoot, as obstacles. But that might be better for the stunner. He might do that. And then this guy might be more of a swarmer enemy. That would be fucking cool.
Yeah.
If there was 10 or 15 of them, just pour into a level, and just
they
start
die
blasting
quick too.
you.
They die like probably one shot. Right?
That'd be great. We could have
ripping through
shoots up top and bottom sometimes when they funnel out through it and pour into the level at you.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
That'd be cool as hell.
You might even make it to where if you trip certain hazards, right? Like you trip an activating system and they pour out through. And they're kind of
cool.
infinite amount of them. That'd be really cool. I really like the way his eye came out.
Maybe not taking him out, but yes.
We'll see. We'll see.
Probably just a lot.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking they pour out infinitely. I was thinking it's on a timer.
Oh.
And then you activate it, and then if you backtrack, you can activate it again. Because later, at the end of the game, each end of the level after you beat the boss, you have to backtrack, and it's going to be harder because we're going to put enemies in different ways. We're going through the level backwards, so we'll design the levels where going one way is a little easier, but going the other way it's a little harder, stuff like that. So, so that'd be cool.
Next guy.
So then we got this guy's not done. I started working on him. This is our sapper.
Oh, yes.
He's only halfway drawn right now, but the idea is that he hides, so he's got a camouflage, right? A lot of Mega Man references, I know, but we love Mega Man X, and so the gecko from Mega Man X. You know how he would jump on the walls. For those of you who don't know, he would jump on the walls and he would kind of fade into the background and kind of go partially transparent and then crawl across the wall. So this guy will do something similar. He'll crawl around and he'll be partially invisible, but then when he pops in, he'll shoot his tongue at you, I don't remember what we were gonna do with that tongue.
We still got to figure it out.
Okay.
We still got to figure it out.
Yeah, but he's gonna have like a curled tongue that comes out, and he'll shoot at you. I think he needs a little bit more angelic thing. Honestly, he kind of does look like he's getting in that direction. I think the colors will help him pop a lot more. But we'll figure something out because, honestly, maybe it's just you add more fucking
halos,
capes and
shit like that.
And drapes and shit coming off of him.
Just basically take a pointer from Space Marine.
Yeah,
throw
yeah.
A bunch of fucking like
with the tassel thing. What are those?
Yeah,
the
those,
little what are those fucking called?
It's got like the long paper that has like
and it's like attached to
them
them
and stuff.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do that. I don't know. Yeah, but I got to redesign her a little bit.
She's really cool though. She needs a little bit of a redesign, but I really like most of what we got going on.
Yeah, as you guys can tell, these are first drafts. These are first concepts. So nothing is set in stone. These are just ideas that are coming out, right? These I was doing these while I was like working and stuff. So they kind of get the general shape, and then we're gonna etch them out. And we're gonna like work on them over time. So
yeah,
what are you gonna say?
No, that's it. I believe this chick flies and then she shoots at you while she's flying, but I don't remember very much about it.
I remember that I want to make it to where when she's just floating there and she's not coming after you, she'll or not shooting you or whatever, she'll her cape will cover her whole body, and so you'll just see her top half and she'll be floating there, and then when you get close or whatever, when she flies at you, she'll like do this, like throw up her guns, and then the cape will go and like kind of float behind her, and then she'll go boom, 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 and blast at you.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And then drop her arms again, and the cape will fly back down.
Yeah.
So
I think that this is gonna be a really cool enemy, especially like the hair will be floating behind the cape.
Yeah, it won't be in front. I actually drew the cape afterwards, but I needed to keep the hair there so I would remember that she has these big flowy hair. Maybe what I'll do when I go redo this concept is I'll actually draw
do it from a side angle a little bit.
I was thinking
like kind of slightly turned. So
maybe
you see your hair floating behind.
I'm probably gonna honestly just go and like, you know what? Yeah, maybe I'll have to redraw her. Because now I'm doing more like unique poses with them, and when I first started drawing her, everyone was like, just dead on, and it was like almost like a T pose.
Yeah.
So I'll probably redraw her, but I think her hair should be like floating behind her or whatever, like this,
just like that,
little
blob off the back of her head.
But so I think that would be pretty cool. Make it float off the back. Her body, I kind of based her off of the Zone of the Enders robot, but I think she looks a little funky. Her hips look huge and kind of weird popping off like that with the skinny body, so I'll readjust that.
I kind of like it.
Do you?
Yeah, just maybe make it a little less broad.
Well, maybe don't do this fucking spring thing I did in the middle. This is weird. So, yeah, don't do that.
Okay.
So, yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, and the next guy, we have the enemy dropper.
So these guys.
Oh, this was the one that was a lot more. Okay, well,
this is a swarmer though that just walks.
Swarmers.
Yeah.
We'll do these guys, and we'll do the flying one as swarmers.
These guys can sneak up on you though, because
they're explosive.
Yeah, they can connect to walls and floors and ceilings, and so they'll just like all travel in packs, and then maybe like some of them will be explosive. We're still trying to figure out what kind of enemy they are. Honestly, they might all be explosive. Yeah,
we got so many dudes that shoot lasers.
Yeah,
already.
Exactly. So these guys might just be explosives, and they fall on you and explode, or they run at you and explode. Or maybe they even jump. We'll figure that out. But yeah, so that's this guy.
Roll as well. Like,
that would be really cool.
They might roll. They might like tuck their feet in, like kind of they just go into their body.
Yeah.
And then they just start rolling, and then they pop up, and then they.
I think actually
pretty much exactly like the
Mega
guy
Man,
from.
Right?
No, I was thinking the dude, the little things from Metal Gear Solid 4.
Pull their arms in, right?
Yeah, they roll and pull their arms in.
Okay.
But next guy is the enemy buff. This is he's just a physical attacker. He needs to be a little bit touched up. He does not look like angelic at all.
Okay, I'm thinking I throw another one of those cloth, the long loincloth on him, right? Kind of would give him a little bit more. Maybe even throw. That doesn't. Okay.
Take it out.
But then probably give him that arm with the sword. I think should be like buffer. It should be like big and meaty.
Also maybe
and then the sword should be. Yep, right? I agree. Yeah.
That one.
And then Yeah, and I agree because that sword's not long enough.
He needs like some sort of like halo, maybe like a
Some
halo
of them
thing
should probably
behind him
have
or something,
halos.
right?
Maybe
a lot of them
all
should.
of them should.
Maybe they
have
all should have
halos.
them.
I don't know.
I think that'd be cool. Like,
It would be cool.
I always like the. I don't know which character it is, so I can't pull the example up. But there's a robot or something that had like, this like ring. It's like a halo, but it's behind her, and it's kind of dead. It's dead on behind her.
Yeah,
and it
I know what you're
goes
talking about.
around.
Yeah.
And it's got these like things that connect to the ends of the halo.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really
There's
cool.
also Conti from Fooly Cooley with his fake halo attached to his head. Yeah.
No, but that one's straight up just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a halo attached to his head.
Yeah. So
But
this guy, he's the buff. I don't know what he's called yet, but he's going to be a physical attacker, and so he'll probably like charge up his blade, slash at you, maybe even slash a couple times, maybe even his arm. I think the reason I designed it that way was to be a shield. That way, if you shoot at him or something, he
In
can
that
block
case,
it, and then he can charge up and slash at you.
I think this should be a lot bigger.
Okay, yeah. Probably take up like a quarter of his body, right? Like cover up most of his body. Yeah, that'd be great.
So just ching.
Yeah, because it
pull
needs
up.
to be big and bulky so that he can like use it as a shield.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll do that. Other than that, I do like
Maybe make him
I like
slow,
the way
too.
his legs came out.
Make it to where like when he goes to turn, it's kind of like a shing, and he
Okay,
turns around.
yeah.
That way you can jump over him
Yeah.
or slide underneath him, and then you can get behind him and then attack him. A couple
Okay, and
times.
it would give him more weight too. He'd feel heavy and and I like his head. His head came out really good.
I like
I
his
really
head,
like
too.
the head with the beak kind of thing going on. That's really cool.
But he definitely needs like a halo or
Yep,
something.
he'll get a little touch up too. And that's actually
it.
all the enemies. So
That's
let's
it
go
for
back
now.
to the first one, so we can show out
best
kind of
one.
the best one that I'm most happy with. And as some of you who have watched Avon, I'm gonna totally pronounce it wrong. Evangelion? No, Evangelion, right?
Evangelion?
Or is it?
Who cares?
Anyway,
Evangelion.
if you watch an anime, you probably recognize that I was very inspired by the angels in that one. That one actually, let's see, Evangelion angels. Okay, yeah. So I was inspired by these guys right here. You can actually see the satchel in the middle, the blue guy. So like a little bit there, with the long arms and everything and long legs. And they got some cool designs in this,
Yeah, they're
in this
crazy.
show. But yeah, so very much inspired by him. But
it's also a
obviously
touch
different.
of what's it called? Zone of the Enders.
Yeah,
So
it's got definitely Zone of the
show,
Enders
show a
touch.
little Zone of the Enders in here. Type it up.
Okay.
Robots.
Mechs.
Next.
Okay, perfect.
So
So yeah,
a little bit of Zone of the
that.
Enders. See how they have like a little bit of what I would consider like an angelic thing. They've got these floating parts, which will probably have some.
That'd be
stuff like
great
this
to have
too.
an enemy that has something like that. Yeah, like with the floating.
Well,
wings.
actually, we should put that with the lava enemies. We
Yeah,
should
that'd be
probably
cool.
do that. But the one that I believe we based that one, that design we just showed off of,
Oh,
I believe
her?
it was this chick. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
a little bit.
Oh, look, she's got a Halo thing going on.
Yeah. Actually, she was the one I believe I was thinking about.
God, those robots look so damn cool.
Yeah.
I love that game. So yeah. Anyway, so that's pretty much that's kind of where we're at on concept art. I was doing all this while I was working on the Xbox. Honestly probably have a lot more of it done by now if I wasn't. But
Also, work.
yeah,
Our
work
job
too.
has been
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Having to pick up a lot of slack too.
Yeah, it has. So, but yeah, so we're gonna continue working on this. We're gonna do more streams with it. Actually, streaming our work this time, and so
Which leads us into the
leads
next
us to the
thing.
next thing. we're
So,
doing.
what we're also going to be working on is mostly Stefan's working on this. I'm giving him the kind of ideas for what we could do with certain things and kind of the amount of stuff we have to put into it. But we're going to be revamping the look of the Twitch channel.
Yeah.
So, for
and
example,
then the YouTube down the road.
and down the road with the YouTube, yeah. But for example, with the Twitch, it would be like the borders for the Twitch stream itself, the camera borders The
Couple little animations that come up.
That will have like the Ettin for our company and stuff like that, and as well as like below where all like the rules and stuff like that is, there'll be actual pictures that Stefan's drawing right now.
I actually finished one. I started another. I literally just started these a couple days ago, so I only have one right now. But this is the one I was going to use for the rules page. So we got Hogar and Krogar. For those of you who don't know, are which is probably most of you because we haven't really mentioned a lot. But the our Ettins actually have names. So the one on the left side, this is Hogar, and then this is Krogar, the one on the right. So Hogar is like the intelligent side. He's also, they're not necessarily, neither of them are like nice, you know, and they'll kill you, you know, they're monsters. But the
he's the more reasonable.
But he's the more, he's like more the lighter one, I guess. He's the nicer one, you know, he's the one that does all their repairs whenever they get damaged. You know, on the our Ettin mascot, you'll notice that he had his brain part of his head blasted off right here, this little plate. So we put a new little plate there on his head to repair the damage. So this is Hogar. He's like the smarter one. He does magic and everything, right? And then there's Krogar. He is the
murder.
He is the murder one. He is the brawn. So we got brains and the brawn, and he doesn't like doing anything that's not killing. He's quite bored here, you know, and he wants to just continue building that pile right there. And so this is kind of, you know, the idea of like what we're gonna be doing. I'm gonna be doing like this kind of like, you know, more simple kind of almost chibier versions. They're not chibi,
cartoony.
They're more cartoony versions of the characters, and gonna put them all over the Twitch channel. Make some little sprite animations for when you you know, subscribe or whatnot, right? Or donate,
whatever.
Yeah, and then you'll get a little animation with that. So yeah, working on those right now. And so once we get kind of all those done, I mean, we're going to be starting on doing more streaming already, but once we get that done, it'll be a lot prettier looking when you go on.
Which will be a lot funner for us to go and do.
Yeah, exactly. So, more motivating.
Yeah, more motivating.
Yeah. So that's
basically it.
Anything else? Let me switch the
else.
camera over before we open.
I believe that's basically it.
Yeah. Let me see. So,
that one. Yep. There you go.
Sure there's nothing else. Oh yeah, there's one more thing to talk about. One more thing. So, okay, we mentioned a couple on Rascal's stream a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago now actually. We mentioned we were starting on an arcade port for Circus Interstellar, and that is still in the works. I actually finished. I finished doing all the game stuff for it, so I completely finished for the most part. I think there's like a couple. We got to do some testing, but I finished the actual port for the arcade. But the cabinet building, that is being worked on right now for our prototype, and when that's done, I'll be able to share that and everything. Our guy Joel, Retro Lizard, arcades. He's working on building it, and
but you ran into a problem.
We ran into a snag when the tariffs happened. Unfortunately, parts started getting a little bit more expensive. Yeah. Not to mention
a little bit more than just a little expensive.
Yeah, some of them jumped like 100 or 150.
Several hundred, yeah.
Yeah, and so you know, that's. I mean, the thing is, anyway, right now we're still doing the prototype, so it might be all right by the time we release the prototype. But depending on how the situation with the tariffs and our economy and stuff gets,
might depend on how long it takes.
Yeah, it might depend on how long it takes to be able to actually do like going to arcades and selling to arcades, because they might not even have the money to buy them right now. So you know, we'll kind of have to play that one by ear as we get a little further. We may have something to show in the next few months. Hey, Bo. We may have something to show.
Bothering us right now.
I think they're hungry.
Go away, Bo. Go away.
We'll have to feed them after we get off. But yeah, so like, still working on that. The arcade port looks awesome. It's got everything, all the bells and whistles. You know, you can join in even after you game over. You can put in more credits before the timer runs down, and you get a permanent game over. You know, it's got more emphasis on the scoreboards and stuff.
And we had to also he had to revamp a whole bunch of stuff when it came to like the players.
Yeah.
And where their position was on the screen and
Yeah.
which controller on the control board was the one that pressed start, stuff like that.
Yeah, because originally the game is actually, this was our first game, so I've learned a lot since on the programming side, but I basically I programmed all the players to be like set to controllers, right? So not exactly two controllers, but set to slots. So you had player 1, he was up in the top left corner, 2, 3, and 4, right? And I couldn't do that the same way with the arcade because anyone could join, right? You got 4 players on an arcade board, right? And so anyone could come up and just jump on a player. And so I had to make it to where basically I had to trick the system. It is really actually still like player 2 or player 4, if he joins first, he's actually being turned into player 1, and same with all the players down the line. But you don't see that as the player.
You, it just looks
to you
like you're joining in on player 4, so you're player 4 spot.
So I had to do some sorcery and trickery to make it work, but it works. And so I'm really excited to do that one. As we do that, and the board becomes available, the prototype and whatnot, we'll share it. We'll share what we can. I don't have any pictures right now. But we'll share all that as it's moving along, and you guys.
It's just gonna take a little bit of time.
Yeah,
which we'll let you guys know when it's all good.
Yeah.
But anyway, to wrap up everything, because it's getting a little late and getting a little tired.
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm hungry. So for those who missed it at the very beginning, Circus Interstellar is going to be available on Xbox April 30th, 2025, aka this coming up Wednesday.
Yeah, 2 days from now.
If you have an Xbox and want to check it out, you can go to. I believe we have some Twitter posts we made, as well as some Facebook posts. They all have wish list links, so you can go and wish list it on your Xbox, and on the 30th it will be available for purchase. I believe it's going to be $9.99, just the same price it's been for the whole time of its existence.
And if you want to keep up with all that, definitely follow us on. I think we're at Ettinsoft.
At Ettinsoft on all of them.
Yeah. So at Ettinsoft on
the only
Twitter and stuff.
Yeah, Twitter and Facebook is at Ettinsoft, but Instagram is Ettinsoft So
yeah, because someone took Ettinsoft. I don't know why that
I
is.
don't know why.
I wonder if that's because it's connected to Facebook actually. But,
we'll
figure that out. But anyway, join us. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook to keep up with all that. And as we go into the next games dev, that's when you'll be able to also see some of our breakdowns about some of the things we're working on and whatnot. And you'll be able to also keep up with what's going on with these next ports that I'm going to be starting. Haven't started them yet, so nothing official yet. But I'm going to be starting to reach out to them. So, I think that's pretty much it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the video if you want to see more of our updates. Now that we're kind of getting back into it, we're going to try and get more busy on the YouTube. But like we said earlier, our fucking day jobs are like
getting crazy.
Just getting really busy. We're about to go to 5 days a week again.
Probably. Yeah.
So
we're working a lot. So.
Yeah. So we'll probably have to readjust what day we do these Ettincast. If Mondays become unavailable, we'll see what we do. So but keep an eye out, hit that bell notification and to be notified after you subscribe, to be notified about when we do another video. Matt will be posting a short pretty soon when we're going to do the release. So all right, I think that's pretty much it, right?
That's basically it.
All right, guys, thank you for joining,
guys,
and you guys have a wonderful day.
See you guys.